So Jean-Pascal defeats Lucian Bute with a 12-round unanimous decision over there in Canada. This fight was a pretty cagey affair for the most part. Bute was the more active fighter. He was throwing more punches throughout the fight, but Pascal was landing the better quality shots for the majority of the fight. And a lot of the rounds were pretty difficult to score and they were fairly open to interpretation. But my personal impression throughout the fight was that Pascal was doing just enough, landed just enough clean shots to offset the superior work rate of Lucian Bute. And I have to say, hats off to Lucian Bute, because he did take some decent shots in this fight and he didn't crumble in the way that I suspected he might under that kind of pressure. Now, Pascal has notoriously poor stamina. He's a guy who fades badly in fights. He's a guy who has very low work rate in most of his fights. And that showed up again in this fight. He was fighting in spurts. He wasn't committing to his attacks against Bute. I mean, when he attacked Bute, he'd get him on the ropes. He seemed like he had Bute in a position where he could finish him, and then he'd back off. Because Pascal himself knows his stamina is not good. He's a very heavily muscled guy. And guys like that, those muscles need oxygen. And I think that's one of the things that Pascal struggles with. He's a very, very muscular guy, and his body just can't get enough oxygen into those muscles throughout the course of a 12-round fight. So he was fighting in spurts, but I personally thought he did enough in the fight to win. I thought the scores were wider than I expected. I expected the scores to be a bit closer. I think the judges scored it about 117, 111 or something like that. Around that, all three judges had it slightly different, but it was around the same kind of margin. So they saw it as a very clear victory for Jean-Pascal. Me personally, I thought it was a bit closer than that. But I can't think you can really argue with a Jean-Pascal victory. Certainly Lucian Bute didn't argue after the fight. He seemed to feel like Jean-Pascal had won. But again, I have to say hats off to Lucian Bute, because he did hold it together mentally better than I expected. Don't get it confused. He did seem more cautious than the old Lucian Bute. He didn't seem to have the same kind of confidence. But when he got caught in the fight, he didn't crumble in the same way that he did against Carl Froch. He didn't look as shaky and as bad as he did against Denis Grachev when he got caught. And Pascal's not a big one-punch knockout artist, but he does have decent power. He certainly can get your respect, and he certainly can, buzz you and shake you up. So, hats off to Lucian Bute for coming back from the kind of devastating defeat against Carl Froch. This fight actually may even improve Lucian Bute's confidence a little bit, because in the final stages of the fight, it was actually Bute that was pushing Pascal back. And it was Pascal who looked like he might get stopped. Not because he was especially hurt, but because he seemed completely gassed out, especially in the 11th and 12th rounds. There was a point there where the referee was even telling him, Jean, you better throw some punches back or I'm going to stop it. You have to show me something. He wasn't seriously hurt, like I said, but he was seriously gassed. So, but he got through those moments and he kind of sucked it up, let Bute throw, unload on him. And then he would come back at Bute after resorbing the shots, kind of rope-a-dope, kind of like Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle. So overall, it was not the greatest fight you're ever going to see. But me personally, I felt the right man won the fight. I thought he controlled the fight. Well, I wouldn't say he controlled the fight, but I think he did just enough with his punching power to keep Lucian Bute honest and prevent Lucian Bute from really boxing the way that he wanted to box. So I thought the right guy won. I predicted Pascal to win on to win by knockout, but he actually won on points. And I'm still not impressed by Pascal's boxing ability, by the way. He did win fair and square, no question, but he was in there with a guy who really was afraid to commit. I think the old Lucian Bute would have had a much better chance of beating Jean-Pascal. As it was, Pascal came out with a victory. But let me know how you had it scored. Did you see it the same as me, a little bit closer than the judges had it? Or do you think the judges had it bang on and spot on and there was no problem with it? So let me know in the comment section below. Where do you see both fighters going from here? Pascal can go on to maybe fight Adonis Stevenson. That'll be a big fight in Canada. So let me know how you felt about the fight. Let me know how you felt the scoring was, where both guys can go from here. And like I said, strangely enough, I think Bute's confidence might actually grow from this fight. It might actually help his rehabilitation, because he might have proved to himself that he can come through a tough fight now against a world-class fighter and a strong fighter like Jean-Pascal. So yeah, drop your comments below. Let me know how you feel. This is Hatman. I'm out.